Hello, here we are at beautiful Malibu Beach. So I wanted to share this with you while I read to you from a novella, The Devil of Daniel Webster. And we'll just dive right in. The Roommate from Hell, Chapter 1. The devil appeared at Jake Stapleton's door after answering his ad for a roommate. Jake, rubbing the sleep from his eyes and wearing only stained gray sweats, opened the door to see a red-headed woman standing on his stoop with a suitcase. Daniela, his voice cracked. Jake? Something about the way she said his name woke him up. Her voice traveled over him like syrup. Her intonation was throaty, maybe even a little manly, definitely sexy. More awake now, Jake peered at his visitor more closely. Daniela Webster appeared in her 40s with shoulder-length red hair and riveting green eyes. There was something otherworldly about those eyes. The emerald in them seemed to reflect the light. Her eyebrows, perfectly arched, afforded Daniela an expression of either wisdom or mischief. Jake couldn't be sure in the slanted morning sunlight, but there was something definitely off about his new roommate. Can I come in? A wry smile played at the corner of Daniela's mouth. Sure, sorry. Jake stepped aside to let her pass. Never, ever invite the devil into your home. Unfortunately for Jake, he had no clue about the woman's real identity. He took the case handle and received a shock, a jolt strong enough to lift the few light hairs on his arm. His hairless body embarrassed him. Jake boasted dark hair on his head, but no manly fur graced his chest. He looked like a frigging infant. The suitcase was surprisingly light. In fact, it felt empty. Jake wasn't a particularly muscular guy. He tended to strain himself opening a door, but carrying Daniela's case made him feel like Captain America. Down here is the bathroom and bedroom, and over here is my bedroom. You get the big one, it's got its own bathroom. How come you don't want the main bedroom? Daniela asked. I'd rather get the rent. Behind him, Daniela said nothing, but Jake could swear her eyes crawled like bugs on his back. After depositing the suitcase in the bedroom, Jake lifted his shoulders with an awkward, weary grin. Make yourself at home. Daniela passed him to enter the bedroom. Jake closed the door inside. A strange woman would now occupy his mother's room. He inserted a pot into the coffee maker and pressed the brew button. This is about as inventive as he could get in a kitchen. Looking out the window, he eyed the sun as it climbed above the rooftops. He lived just outside Washington Park in Denver, within walking distance to Smith Lake. Jake hoped he'd be able to hold on to the house. It was all he had left of his mom. Got any more coffee? Daniela sat on the recliner and swung one casual leg over the armrest. She'd changed from slacks to shorts, and Jake couldn't help but notice her legs, pretty darn shapely for a mom type. Still, the image of a long-legged spider crept into his mind, a predator casually resting in its web, waiting for a dumb insect to get caught. He cleared his throat. I guess we should set some ground rules first, right? The wry smile returned. Before or after coffee? Do you want me to pay you for the coffee? I can. I left you some money on the table. Right there, behind you. The kitchen had a nook with a built-in bench under the window. Jake's mother had sewn matching fabric on that bench and curtains. On the table runner of the same material lay a crisp $100 bill. When did Daniela put that there? I don't need $100 for coffee, he lied. You sure? Because that coffee smells good and I'd really like some. Jake absentmindedly scratched his ass. So you want to, pay me for food or something? He looked around for help. None came. I'm sorry, I don't have a lot of experience with roommates. Technically, Jake, I'm a housemate, a boarder. I'll do whatever you want. The truth is, I'd love some coffee, and I haven't gone to the market yet, so keep the money and make me coffee. Jake jerked as he slapped. Sure, coming right up. Do you want milk or anything in it? Black is fine. He walked over and handed her the mug. This wasn't going right, he thought. He had a funny feeling she was manipulative. He needed to set some ground rules with this boarder. Daniela seemed quite comfortable, not like him at all. I needed this break. She took a sip and closed her eyes with a satisfied smile. That's good. It's nice and hot. What brings you to Denver, Jake asked. A job? A getaway, like I said. Oh. Jake took a seat on the chair opposite the couch and worked up the courage to sound like a businessman, like someone who rented rooms out to people all the time. So, Daniela, she interrupted him. We should probably lay down some ground rules, don't you think? I'm happy to fill the refrigerator. I don't eat much, but I like a good meal once in a while, and you'll find I'm an excellent chef. Very self-sufficient, so I won't be a bother. What about you? Do you have a lot of friends? Throw big parties? Should I be worried? She grinned. I don't have a lot of friends, so you don't have to worry about big parties. Daniela's eyes roamed the room. This is a nice place. Small, but nice. Have you owned this place long? It was my mother's, Jake said. My folks divorced when I was 5, and my dad started a new family in San Diego. It was just my mom and me when we moved into this place, and then she went. Jake paused and felt the old pain simmer in his heart. I lived with my mom's sister in Bend, Oregon, until I came back here to go to college in Boulder. When I turned 21, I inherited this house. Again, he regarded the kitchen nook's plaid print fabric that his mom meticulously chose and sewed. Here and there about the house, he found traces of his mom. The lavender plants out front, the rain catcher hanging from the patio overhang in the backyard. Mom had loved gardening, and the strand of little brass watering cans had never failed to cheer her when it rained. Wanda Stapleton had been Jake's confidant, his cheering squad. Then pancreatic cancer took her away. He hadn't been ready for his mom to leave, and he missed her every day. Was your aunt in Oregon nice to you? She asked. Jake wiped his nose with the back of his hand. She was all right. She had her own kids to deal with. And Mr. San Diego, your father, what happened to him? Jake shrugged. I don't even know his new phone number. Got it. Danielle nodded and sipped her coffee. I appreciate your honesty, Jake. You're very forthcoming. I feel I should grant you the same favor and be honest with you. She set down her coffee cup. I am not what I appear to be. It took Jake a minute to focus on Daniela. He'd been thinking about his mother. What do you mean? This body I'm wearing is a disguise. All of this. This hair, these eyes, these arms, they're all part of a costume. I don't get it, Jake mumbled. He needed a second cup of coffee. My name isn't Daniela. Some people call me Lucifer. With a sigh, she added, I'm the devil. Jake peered at the woman on the recliner. God, she's nuts, he thought. Of course she is. The one boarder I pick would have to be insane. Jake stood up and poured another cup of coffee. It was too early in the morning to deal with a schizophrenic. The two had signed a lease. What was he supposed to do? It would be nice if he had some parents to get advice from. How Jake envied kids with solid families. Since there was no one to save his ass from this crazy bitch, he'd have to come up with some excuse.